I open with a football reference since my guest today is a big time Saints fan. What do you do when you face third and goal? No, better yet, when you face fourth and goal and they're throwing everything at you, you do what old school teams do. You put your helmet on, you strap in, and you bull your way forward into that end zone. That's what my guest has done and will continue to do. And you're going to learn all about her right now. Hey, everybody, Brian Snow here with you. Welcome to the Brian Snow Show. And there are going to be some changes made to this show. I'll talk about that more at a later time. But I've been wanting to get this young lady on the show for a long time. She is the founder and CEO of AL Publishing and Consulting. It's a publishing marketplace. She's a professional life coach, a very accomplished author, a very accomplished motivational speaker. As I mentioned, I have a little fun with it. She's a big time Saints fan. That's why I open with the football reference. And she's also the host of Motivation Talk and Dialogue Show. It's a platform dedicated to elevating authentic voices and purpose-driven conversations. I had the pleasure to appear on her show. And now, thank you, God, for getting everything and all the timing together. She's appearing on mine. Please help me welcome this afternoon Mrs. Lacole Smith. How are you, my dear?
Hello.
Good to have you.
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing good. I mentioned before we came on, it's good to see you smiling. And you said that you have to smile through everything, especially given the climate nowadays.
You do. You definitely have to smile through a lot of things nowadays. So just have to keep pushing and smiling. That's all you can do.
Absolutely. Tell me how you became a personal life coach and what led you to be such.
Well, the personal life coach was kind of by accident, actually. Uh,
I love it. I love it.
uh, it was basically to help my client better so I can be able to give them the needed information that they need to help while they were writing their books. So I decided to go ahead. One of my friends that have a program, she was a life coach. She's a life coach trainer.
hmm
And she was like, okay, a couple of years ago, she was like, I think you'll be a great life coach. And I was like, I don't know about that. So the more the more I started getting clients and they were dealing with trauma, they were dealing with all kind of different things, and I was like, let me go ahead and see if she's still doing those life coach courses. And she was. So I was like, okay, let me go ahead and take that step. So I went through her life coach training, and then I also went back to become a professional certified life coach. So now I'm
Beautiful.
certified.
Beautiful. Well, that's what my beauty is. She is also a certified life coach, and I absolutely enjoy it. And I love seeing her succeed. I love seeing you succeed. You and I connected through your show. What prompted you to get your podcast started?
Well, it was a lot of people out there that I knew had businesses, I knew had written books, but nobody knew about them. Nobody was hearing about them. Nobody was seeing them. Nobody, um, could say, "Hey, I know this person," and it was so common till I was like, "Okay, let me go ahead and interview a few people that I know." And then from there, it basically was not supposed to be what it is now, of course. Um, because as funny as it seems, I do not like to be in front of the camera all the time. I'm a behind the scenes type of person.
Mhm.
So started interviewing, and people was like, "Oh, you make it seem so easy. You make it seem so fun." And they was like, "Well, I'm gonna tell my friend, and I'm gonna tell this person," and it just kind of went from there. So
Off to the
here
races you went.
I, here I am. I think 4 years in now. 4 years in now.
It's like I told you when I was on your show. We kind of share the same kindred spirited story because 1995 I only dreamed of calling games, and then a friend checked out a camera at the in the speech and theater department at Chicago State. I asked him if he can attach a microphone to that. And he says, "What are you up to?" I said, "I want to try something." Well, here I am 30 seasons later, still calling games and hosting not only this show that we're putting together, but of course, Snowman in the Morning. You've stopped by there a couple of times. I'll tell you something funny. Like you said, Snowman in the Morning for me came on a dare because I wanted to do a morning show, but I didn't know how. I've only heard so many voices. I got so many friends in media back home in Chicago, and they were encouraging me. They say, "Yeah, go do it." And I'm like, "How? How am I supposed to do this?" And then one of my friends woke me up and said, "I dare you to put your opinions out there." Here I am 12 seasons later doing the whole thing, doing the same thing. Does it get
Yeah.
tough for you sometimes with some of the projects you take on?
Some of them are, especially when they get like the life and death type stories. When I have my clients that talk
Mm-hmm.
about the life and death, and when I have the ones that have been through some major trauma or major loss, um, it kind of tugs on your heartstrings. So I have my moments where I have to like depress, and be like, okay, so I got to help them through this, so I got to be able to maneuver through it, So before, like, if it's of something that's gonna bother me, I kind of read over it, I kind of go through it, I reset my mindset, and then I talk to them, so that I'm giving them the best information that I can give them in the best way that I know how. And if it's something that's too deep, then I encourage them to see someone.
In the medium that we are in, which is doing interviews, you just mentioned the best way to prepare for it. You got to do a lot of reading. You have to do a lot of understanding on what your interviewee has gone through. And if it gets like way too deep where it really pulls at your heartstrings, then you just said the best thing. You encourage them to seek someone and seek some help. And it shouldn't be a stigma. Let me put it that way. It shouldn't be a stigma for a person to ask for help in getting through trauma. I mean, there are days I still deal with the memory of the loss of my dad and the loss of my daughter. And I lost both of them within a span of 8 years. So some days are tough, some days are better than others, which brings me to a book that you have written and published, which I absolutely adore the title of, and it's just a subtle reminder of something we need to do every day, and that's take a leap of faith. What led you to write that?
Uh, One morning I woke up and I knew that I was supposed to write the book, and I was like, nobody's gonna want to hear my life story. Nobody's gonna be worried about what I've done, what I've overcome.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept putting it off until it got to the point where, and a lot of people probably hear this statement, it gets to the point where you're uncomfortable being comfortable,
Yep.
and you know that you have no other choice but to do it. And
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of where I got to the point where I knew I had to do it. And I just wish I would have written it when I was supposed to write it, because then my mom would have been able to read it. And my dad. My dad was able to get the book, but he wasn't able to read the book before he passed. So I know they've seen it in heaven, but it's a different kind of feeling when, you know, I know, excuse me, I know that I could have done it when I was supposed to do it. and they would have been able to enjoy it, and I didn't. So you have those emotions that kind of tie into that. But the biggest thing that made me write it was just I knew it was a lot of people that's out there. They're fearing for things. They are scared. They think that they're alone. Nobody's been through it. Nobody knows what they're talking about. And I was like, hey, I'm just gonna put my life story out there, and if you read it, you read it. If it connects, it connects. But if I can help one person, then the book has done what it needs to do. And at this point, I've heard a lot of people come back and say, your book have helped me, your story has helped me. I look up to you, just a lot of things like that. So I know that me publishing the book was the right thing to do. Even though I was hesitant to put my information out there, because who wants to talk about that they were a single mom? Who wants to talk about that they went through divorce, or I went through depression? And who wants to talk about that when a lot of people don't even know that you had these issues going on? So to put yourself on Front Street like that, it was a challenge. It was a big challenge.
I bet it was one of the scariest things because I had to challenge myself to do the same thing. Because I'm in the process of writing a book myself, and it's an audio podcast right now. A lot of people know I have something called Diary of a Mad Snowman. My friend Charles gave me that title, and he said, with everything you've gone through, you need to get it off your chest and put it out there. And like you, I kept hesitating and hesitating and hesitating. And I finally did a series of episodes with that title. And something started to click. Something started to click. So now I am organizing everything. I'm going to record all the episodes that I want to record for the first season because, again, my friend Charles says this is not just one book for you. This is going to be a series
Right.
because you have a heck of a story to tell outside of what you've been through health wise. You can be one of the men that navigate through all of your mental health challenges, and believe me, there have been many. You know this as well as I. We go through mental health problems, but what are we taught to do? Keep it inside. That's a mistake.
Right. Right. It is. It definitely is. You know, that mentality is really, really messing up a lot of people, because so many people say, what happens here stays here. What goes on in the past stays in the past. Well, sometimes the past staying in the past is the issues that we confront in the future. So we have to make sure that we're healing from the things of our past. We're healing from the things that are bothering us. If we're not healing from it and we're just suppressing it, it's not helping you nor the person that's ahead of you that needs to hear it's okay to have a breakdown. It's okay to say no. It's okay to, feel like you don't want to be bothered. These things are okay, and not push yourself through it every time. Some things you're gonna push through. Some things you're gonna have to push through. Like, you might be at work and you have to push through your job. But some things just are not made for us to push through. If you're on the break of something mental and you're not healed, you cannot help the people that are around you. You're not good for the people that are around you, and you don't know when you're gonna snap. So we have to start being able to say no and be okay with saying no. That's my new thing this year. If I'm not, I'm not. If I am, I am. But it's not going to be, I'm not going to make myself feel forced to have to do anything. If I do it, it's going to be because I really am able to do it, and not that I feel forced to do it. And a lot of people need to put those shoes on, because they're wearing themselves thin, and it's not good for their health. It's not good for the people that are around them, and it's not good for society as a whole or your mental health.
That is so true. And that's a lesson that I've had to learn. I've had to learn to say no. I've had to learn to say no to a lot of things. I've had to say no to a lot of offers because, as you said, and my wife has constantly said, wearing myself too thin. I was wearing myself out to the point where what I love to do, which is calling games and hosting my show, I had to take time away from. I'd rather taking the time away from it in the midst of everything that's going on and take the proper time to heal and then come back fully ready to go and fully organized, then try to push through it, and then you get so drained and you get so tired and you walk right into a wall and you got no way to climb up that doggone thing. So
Right.
trust me, it's
Right.
I very well understand it. I understand it more now than I did earlier in life. I mean, even a couple of years ago, I understand it more now because the point I can tell you where I really began to wear down was like right after the World Series. I did all 7 games. I had a ball doing it, but then something felt off when I tried to transition into football. Something just felt completely off, and I didn't realize what it was until I talked to my wife, and she was studying a little something we like to call burnout. Well, not only was I burned out, I was burned up. And I didn't know that
Right.
or realize it till she started talking about the symptoms, and it just kept knocking me upside the head. Like, dude, she's speaking your language. So I sat
Exactly.
down and I listened. I did nothing. I did nothing but listen and working on my health. We both are getting everything together. Wonderful people like you standing by us and helping us get through this just with some encouragement. And I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming on today. We finally had a chance to do this
I know.
with,
I
with all
know.
the crazy schedules, folks. You got to understand. Lacole and I've asked her to come on my show, and she says yes. When can we do it? And almost every doggone time that we were ready to do it, something came up, either on her end or most recently on my end. And she sent me a message. I gotta tell this story before we get out of here. She sent me a message one day, and I knew you were kidding around when you did it. I looked at my messages and just said, "Are we gonna do this or not?" And I just sat down and cracked up. I cracked up.
Definitely. Definitely.
I sat down and cracked up, and then you said, "I hope you're not mad at me for that message." I'm like, are you kidding? I totally understand where you're coming from because both of us have been down this bumpy road before, man.
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, it's all in fun and enjoyment, but at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, it's basically was a mind thing for both of us
Yes.
that, okay, we need to take a moment and try to get in sync because we was bouncing all over the place when it was time for you to get you on my show. We were bouncing all over the place the first time I came on your show.
Yep.
It's like every single time the devil is like, we do not want these two people to connect
Bingo.
on social media. I'm like, I'm just a little Saints fan down here in Louisiana. We are not going to cause that much trouble. Can we just have an interview? My goodness, it's not that hard. Even though it was, I'm like, and
You would think it wouldn't be. You would think it wouldn't be that hard, but I totally feel what you're saying about the devil trying to intercept our plans. And like I said, from the first time we appeared on each other's show a year and a half ago, every single time we had a doggone wall in front of us. And like, we don't want these two voices together. Well, guess what? It just happened.
it just happened again. Definitely, definitely.
And when I appeared on your show, we talked a little bit of football, and you asked me who's your favorite team. I said it's the 49ers, and you started grinning and saying, "Well, I'm a Saints fan." We were not supposed to talk football on that episode because we were going to keep it to a short amount of time, folks. We wound up going almost an hour laughing.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
But
Yeah,
if you
and
learn, if you
it's
learn up,
funny because I actually am kind of sort of a 49ers fan. Well, I'm gonna say I'm a Jerry Rice fan, and he came from the 49ers. So, so
hey,
technically,
No one knew.
Uh,
No one
I'm
knew.
not there anymore.
And listen, no one knew about that little receiver from Mississippi Valley State until he broke every single record in the book. Okay, I've got to have you back so we can do this again. You're an absolute
Definitely.
delight. I am happy to call you family, sis. I love you dearly. Thank you for coming on
Yes.
today. I truly, truly appreciate it.
I appreciate you having me on. I love y'all too. You and Jody are just like my sister and brother. I can lean and talk to y'all about anything. So and vice versa. So I'm just happy that I have an extended family out there, and I'm excited about it. I'm excited.
I'm excited to call y'all extended family too. We both are. This is Lacole Smith, and if you ever want to learn anything, take a leap of faith. Take a read of her book, and you will learn a lot and so much more. Thank you, my dear. I appreciate you coming
All
on. I
right.
can't wait to have you back on.
All right. Thank you again for having me. I appreciate you.
That's going to do it for this episode, folks. And watch for an announcement about this show coming very, very soon. Till then, take care. God bless you. And I'll see you next time.